Okay, we are all here pretty much. If you guys missed, if you're just hopping on, Ashley had asked to put the date that you hit what your lifetime rank is in the chat as we get started. But this call is for our current directors and above. We wanted to just kind of get everybody together and have some leadership discussion with the one and only Ashley Walmer. She has some good tips and strategy and things that she wants to bring to all of you as we continue to push through and get everybody else onto their next rank and move it and shape it in the business. So I'm going to mute. Ashley, if you want to go ahead and take over. Do you want me to spotlight you? I like when I can see the speaker, but I guess you guys
sure.
can do that yourself too.
Sure, that works. Okay. Hi, guys. Hello, hello. All right, so let's get cozy in because this is a leadership call. And there's going to be a couple of things that I'm going to ask for some feedback on. So if you guys can do that in the chat, that would be awesome. Okay. So I'm going to start this with saying most of you know me. Okay. This is a group of people that I personally love and adore. And a lot of you I have personal relationships with because I knew you before Ravenly. Okay, so I'll start there. And if I didn't, you're on a team with a leader that I had a personal relationship with, either from the start of Bravenly or from beforehand. And so the reason I'm saying that is if you don't know me, I'm just going to be really real. We're going to have a leadership conversation. We're just going to talk like we're friends. We're going to talk like I'm not the VP of field development and I'm somebody that loves and adores you and wants the best for your business moving forward. And Mickey and I had a conversation last week, and I was like, we're doing a call, and we were trying to figure out the rank, that right rank. And at first, I think we were both kind of thinking senior directors and above. So here's what I want to say to those of you that are directors. The reason why we extended this to you is because you're going to be senior director very, very soon. Okay. And so there may be some of this conversation that either goes over your head or you may be thinking, I haven't really hit that part in my business yet. I haven't experienced that in my business yet because maybe you're brand new and your business is booming and you're in momentum right now because you're brand new and you haven't experienced some of the things that we're going to talk about. We still wanted to include you in on this conversation because I know all of you guys on this team and in this organization are in momentum and are experiencing growth and are going to get to that next level right now. So the topic kind of tonight is why run right now? So the first question I have for you is put a 1 in the chat and be honest, you guys, because I know lots of you work and aren't able to, but put a 1 in the chat if you watched Mentorship Monday today. Okay. Put a 2 in the chat if you haven't yet, but you're going to. Okay. The reason why I say that is because we talked about what the core rank of director means and what it means to your paycheck. So for those of you that are 1s in the chat right now, this conversation is going to be an extension of that. In a lot of ways, it's going to build on top of that. And I did it very purposely. Okay. If you're a 2 after you leave this call and say you watch Mentorship Monday tomorrow on your way to work or while you're in the shower in the morning, everything's going to start clicking. Okay. So we right now, as a corporate team with Bravenly, we don't have an incentive to be running for. The trip incentive just ended, right? And so did the extension of the bonuses. And so there's a few people that have felt like, man, where's the urgency? I want something to run for. Okay. And for those of you guys that feel that way, don't hear me when I say there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I guarantee probably all of you that felt that way, even if it was just for 2.5 seconds, I want to see you put a me in the chat. If that was you, if you felt like the second that April 1st hit, you're like, where's the thing? Give me, what am I running for? Right. Okay. Put a me in the chat. Okay. Because corporately, as your VP of field development, I felt that way. Okay. So we're going to talk about that tonight. But here's the thing that happens when you are somebody who is driven by like lots of different things. And so we're going to talk and have a conversation tonight about the fact that we don't have this trip incentive that's going on right now, and how that maybe for some of you are like, oh, I need a carrot, or I need to have some sense of urgency in order for me to run. Okay. So I have a question for you. The next one. Did you enroll in Bravenly as a brain partner to just sit still and watch your paycheck drop and hit a glass ceiling? No, but that's what happens when we stay stuck in that mindset too long. Okay. Again, you guys, leadership conversation. So if there's things that I say tonight, you're like, ooh, that hurt a little, or that was me, and ooh, just know I love you and I felt that way. And it's why we're talking about this. Okay. Here's why I say that. You're either growing or you're dying. There is no staying the same. Okay. So if you feel like there's nothing to run for, I'm just going to sit and wait, right? What you're doing is you're sitting on the fence, right? And if you're not growing, you're actually going to start to backslide. And I know this because it's happened to me in my business every single time I've felt this way, or I wasn't capitalizing on momentum or growth in my business. I would think to myself, oh, it's just not my month. Now, does this mean that you hit a new promotion every single month? Does this mean that you hit your goals every single month? Heck no. But what it means is when you make a decision to sit on the sidelines of your business and wait for something, that's what I'm talking about. The waiting becomes going backwards. Okay. So one thing actually my husband Mike brought to my attention tonight is I was telling him about this call, because he's like super passionate about this topic as well, as he was saying to me that every single person in life that has had lasting success or changed the trajectory of their life did it from a decision. They didn't do it because their boss dangled a carrot in front of them. They didn't do it because they had something to run for. They changed the trajectory of their life and they had lasting success because they decided to, and they took action on that. Okay. And what we have our hands on right now, just as a company, you guys, I want you to think about this for a minute. It's why I asked some of you when you promote it, because a lot of you guys are new, and new people, we call them like the lifeblood of your business because they're excited and they're everything. Think back to the month that you enrolled, right? It's like the most excited you are about your business because you get your hands on these products and you go and tell everybody. Okay. We still have our hands on the same products. We still have our hands on the same compensation plan. We have now a better turnkey system than we had when we first started. Like, we shouldn't need something to dangle in front of us to go run and talk about the secret sauce that we have in our hands, which is called Bravenly, right? So that's kind of like the first thing that I want to say before we get into the reasons why you guys want to be running right now is don't gatekeep. How many of you guys have heard that before? Like, you hear of a leader, you hear of a giant in any industry, and they're like, oh, they're a gatekeeper. What that means is they don't tell their secrets. They don't talk about how they had success. I built at another network marketing company. You guys all know this, that I've been in the industry, but I built at a company called It Works. And there were a lot of leaders that helped each other. And there was this one set of leaders that everybody in the entire company knew. You couldn't ever ask them a question. Well, you could, but they would never answer. They never told you what they did to hit the top rank of the company. And everybody referred to them as like gatekeepers, right? So don't gatekeep to your friends and family what we have our hands on. We already know these products work and this business works, okay? And so now you guys get to just take action on telling all of your friends and family about what we have our hands on, okay? So with that being said, there's 4 reasons why I believe wholeheartedly that it doesn't matter when we have an incentive on the table, why you guys as directors and above and leaders need to take this conversation and literally like dive into your teams going forward, these 4 points, okay? Because there are always going to be moments when we don't have an incentive. There's always going to be months where we don't have a product launch. There's always going to be months where we don't have a promotion or something like that on the table, right? It's always going to happen where not every single day is there like, oh, your email's going off because all this stuff is happening, right? It's just not realistic. So I want you to remember and to drill into your teams this leadership. Okay. So why you run all the time, why you want to run when it doesn't look like or to appear to be something to run for. One, your paycheck. Okay. Those of you that watch Monday Motivation know and understand the power of director in our paycheck. Okay. This is going to be impactful for those of you that are on here that are directors and above. Why? Because you know, after watching that Zoom, your paycheck goes up and 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 up every time you go create another director. The same thing happens at the rank of vice president. Another, okay, layer of that. So, for example, I want you guys, and actually, Mickey, do I have the ability to screen share real quick? Let me see. Yeah, I think so. Well, maybe not. Nope. Can you make me a co-host real quick? Okay, perfect. Okay, this is the chart at a glance, you guys. I want you just for a second. We already talked about director on Mentorship Monday. So if you didn't watch that Zoom, go watch it. Even if you're like, I already know why director is important. Okay. I'm going to take a snapshot of this and in the chat and follow up with those twos. Okay. Vice president is where I want you guys looking right now. Okay. There is another bonus that happens at the rank of vice president right here. And it is significant in your paycheck. Okay. So when you are at this rank, just like at director, there's another bonus that comes into play. It's a 2% gen bonus off of your total group volume. Okay. What is the rank of vice president? How much group volume do you have? 40,000. Does anybody know what 2% of 40,000 is? $800. It's literally an $800 pay raise in just that one bonus. Okay. Now imagine if you decide you're going vice president and then you're going to help somebody else go vice president. So say, Lori, you go vice president and you help Kim and Jen both go vice president. Okay. You make a 2% bonus on everything that is outside of them, but then you make a 3% bonus on their organization. I didn't already do that math, but let's do it. 40,000 times 0.03 is $1,200. $1,200 by helping Kim go vice president. Okay. $1,200 for helping Jen go vice president. That's $2,400 plus the 2% that you're going to get outside of them. So you guys, there is a massive, massive jump in pay that happens at vice president. And I'll tell you, when I was at a different company, there was a rank, we'll call it what it was. It was called diamond. Okay. And there was a bonus that happened at that rank, and the CEO of that company would always talk about, like, once you go diamond, you have a license to print money, because he knew and understood once you hit that rank, your paychecks were like dollar bills, y'all. Like, it was crazy town. Okay. Ours is 10 times better because
kid kill me, bro.
Oh, somebody. Okay. We're going to mute that person. Okay. So at the end of the day, here's what I want to say. Let's say, for example, you are, and I'm just going to use vice president as an example, you guys, because we already talked about director this morning. Right now, I'm talking about VP because that is the next really big bump. And let's just say you're like, oh, I'm out of my timeline to hit that bonus. Okay. You're out of your timeline to hit that bonus. You're like, well, maybe I'll wait. Maybe they'll bring it back. Maybe in 6 months, they'll bring it back and I'll go vice president and I'll pick up that bonus. Okay. What is 6 months times $800 that if you went vice president right now and you maintained it every single month for 6 months, you guys would make almost $5,000 in your paycheck. Do you know how much the VP bonus is? $1,600. Do you want $1,600 or do you want $5,000? Okay. So that's the point that I wanted to make is when you hold back, your paycheck suffers from it. And sometimes we think to ourselves, "Ooh, I want to wait because that thing is going to happen and I'm going to get that bonus." You guys all just watch Mickey go SVP and get that bonus. But at the end of the day, even if that bonus wasn't on the table, if she didn't hit it last month, you better believe I would have had a call with her on April 1st going, "We're getting it this month. And who cares about the $4,000 bonus that's going to happen? Your team and you going SVP this month and for the next like following months is going to far outweigh that one-time bonus." Okay. So never, ever, ever wait for a bonus or wait for something incentive money-wise for corporate to do to run. You already have it in your comp plan. Okay. When we created this comp plan, we didn't create a comp plan that pays out 55 to 65% every single month to just sit there. Okay, what I mean by that is lots of other companies that only pay out 30 to 35% to their field, they have to have flashy bonuses all the time because their comp plan lacks so much that they have nothing to run for. We wouldn't be able to do a Zoom talking about why to run for your paycheck if you had a compensation plan that didn't pay well. Okay, so we do. And here's the thing that I wanted to share with you guys is just like a story before we move on to point 2 about your paycheck. Okay. I was with a company that had bonuses, flashy bonuses, and they did them every year around the same time. And what it ended up doing is creating a really, really bad behavior. And most people that didn't hit those bonuses, that they were just going to wait until the next month. I'm sorry, until the next like time the bonuses came, about 6 to 7 months until they were back. Guaranteed every single person on my team, I can testify to this 100%. Every single person that didn't hit it and stopped running and were like, "Well, I'm going to wait. Summer months are coming. I'll just wait until they bring the bonuses back," because they will in a couple of months, did not hit the bonuses when they came back. Why? Because by stopping the momentum in their organization and their team took them out of the game, unfortunately. Okay. And so it created really bad habits and it created a really bad mindset of waiting for the next thing. Okay. So, number one reason, if you're taking notes of why you want to be running right now or anytime that there is not a corporate incentive going, is for your paycheck. It will thank you for it. Okay. 2, you do not want to hold your team back. Okay. While you wait for something else to come, you're capping your team. Okay. You're holding them back. How many of you guys have ever heard of the law of the lid? The law of the lid is that you are the lid on your organization. Okay. What you do duplicates. What you don't do duplicates. So if you're not pushing for a goal, they're not pushing for a goal. Okay. You're capping your team. And I want you to think about this for a second. Literally, okay, I'm going to cry. The second that Mickey went SVP, you guys want to know one of the first things she said to me was, she goes, "We did it and nobody hit vice president. Like, I want next month, like, I want to help so many people go vice president in my organization now." Like, it wasn't just about like her and her promotion. She was so hyper focused on helping all of you guys hit those next big ranks. If she would have woke up on April 1st and been like, "Oh my gosh, well, we did it. Okay, I'm going to breathe and I'm going to take time and I'm just going to relax." Okay. What she's doing is stopping all of you for pushing for everything you were pushing for during that, right? I know that so many of you were actually pushing for bigger goals and bigger ranks than what you actually hit. I know that because I've had those conversations with you. I was running with you as you were trying to hit them. Yes, some of you did hit your goal, right? But some of you didn't, and that's okay. But imagine if you guys had leadership on this team like Lori and Mickey and Sarah Sigliano and Tara and Coley that stopped pushing for goals because they hit theirs, right? Okay, that's not what is happening in this organization. And I want to instill that in every single one of you guys, that when you set goals, instead of going VP now and running 6 months later, you guys are going to be in the position now to go SVP. Yeah, maybe you didn't hit the VP thing that's coming, but you have no idea what's going to come around the corner. And maybe now you're putting your business in a position like Lori Blaukamp. Like, I know you think of vice president as just like a stepping stone, right? Like, Let's go get that done in the next month or two. And I know that that's your goal. And that way you're going SVP and EVP after that, right? Instead of waiting to just go vice president. Does that make sense, you guys? And like I said, I'm talking about vice president because I talked a lot today about director. But same thing, if those of you guys that just hit the rank of director, or like, I know like Bridget just hit the rank of like senior director, if you're like, oh, well, there's not like a carrot to run for right now, okay? You may sit at senior director, and remember, there's no growing or dying. So chances are, if you have the mindset of sitting, you're actually going backwards. You're not putting your business in a position to actually go the next rank of executive director when something fun comes. Now, what does that do to your team? Okay, if you just want senior director, maybe you've got 1 or 2 directors on your team. What's that going to do for them? It's going to push them backwards. It's going to push them down as well. Okay, so when you set goals, they set goals. Don't stop momentum because you don't have a thing to run for, right? Some of you guys have been pushing, like I said, for 30, 60, 90 days to earn the trip or to earn that new rank. I know when we removed the bonus time frame, most of you guys that were at that executive director summit were bawling your eyes out because you understood what that meant for your business, that you could go run and hit those bonuses. Okay. Again, some of you hit those things, some of you didn't. It's not time to stop just because you didn't, right? If you stop now, not only is it capping you, but it's capping your team. And you've got your team running, okay? You've got your team running right now. Is it fair to them for you to stop when maybe you hit your goal, but they haven't hit their goal? Maybe I know like Kim and Jen, you guys just, hit massive new ranks in your team. I know both of you guys are now pushing for senior executive director. Okay. If you guys, and I know you're pushing, but like, let's say, for example, you're like, oh, there's not nothing to run for. Like, I'm going to like stall out. What's that saying to your directors, that they're not ready for senior director, that your senior directors aren't ready for executive director, right? So you want to keep going so it doesn't hold your team back. Keep building on that momentum that you've created. Set the tone that every month you guys have goals. Okay. I used to think to myself, I would wake up on the 1st and I would set my goals, and then I'd reach out to my person enrolled and I would ask them four goal questions. Okay. So if I was building here, it would be like, okay, Ash, what's my rank goal? Is it a new goal or maintenance? Okay. What's my income goal for the month? Rank, income, sales goal, okay, and enrollment goal. So those were the 4 things that I always asked myself every single month. And then I asked that of my team. Okay. So for some of you guys, let me go back to the chat. Let's see if there's anybody that just hit. Okay. Let's see. So like Julie Tooker just hit director in February. Okay. So for Julie, it's going, okay, is it this month, April, that you're going to push for senior director, or are you maintaining director? Okay. And if you're maintaining director, what volume goal do you have for yourself? Okay. It's setting those standards at the very beginning of every single month. And when you do that, you duplicate that, right? So you ask your team those exact questions as well. I want you guys to think about the fact that, like, if you've started to create something in your organization, right? Think about it like a snowball. Okay. Let's say you have a little tiny snowball. Okay. Oh, really? Okay. You've created this little snowball that has started to move. Okay. It's not a flake, it's a snowball. You guys have some momentum going, right? Well, what if you stop? 4 months, 2 months, 6 months. I have no idea when the carrot's going to come that you want, right? You've stopped. Okay. Chances are there's been some warm days. Chances are that snowball is actually smaller than it was on April 15th. Okay. And you're going to have to start over. Now imagine the snowball that you've created if you just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, pushing it and pushing it, right? And 3, 6, 2, 1, whatever month it is, when we come out with that carrot, you now have that massive snowball rolling down the freaking hill. Imagine where you're going to be. Okay. Imagine what that looks like versus the little snowball that you've started to create right now. Okay. If you feel far away from what your goal is, I want you to focus on helping your team. Okay. Go help the next new person go director. All right. If you focus on helping a few other people start to make up 2,500, 2,500, 2,500, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not as far away as I thought. Holy crap, I'm getting ready to go executive director, right? So if you feel far, take the focus off of you and start to put it on how many new people can you help in your organization. Okay, number 3, you don't know what is around the corner. Okay, I started to kind of talk a little bit about this, but your business needs to be ready for what's next so you're not playing catch up. Okay, so that snowball analogy is rolling, perfect, rolling right into this one. Okay, you want to move your team into action so they can win in the next season. Maybe you just won in this season, right? Okay, you want to help them win the next season that's coming, which, like, who knows when that's gonna, it could be next month, it could be next week. When I talk about there's no incentive right now, you guys, like, I already know the whole freaking calendar for the rest of the year and the next 2 years of everything that's coming. Okay, so don't stop too long and don't be sad too long or complain too long. None of you are complaining. I'm just saying, okay? So at the end of the day, you guys move your team into action so they can win in the next season, and guarantee if they're winning in the next season, you're winning in the next season too, right? So there literally could be products coming. There could be a bonus that's coming. There could be a trip that's coming. There could be so many different things. Coley, I wish. But even let's think about like a product, like a product launch, right? Like literally, you guys, the more people that you have moving into momentum, having more conversations, closing more customers, closing more brand partners. I want you to think about if you had a team of 10 people right now in your organization, when a product launch happens, let's say everybody goes and buys it and maybe you do 1,000 in volume one day, right? Imagine if you had 20 people in your organization that we're working between now and when that happens, right? Think about the volume that's coming in. You never know when something is coming and you want to be ready for it. I don't want you guys to just hit the same mark every single month and then go back and then hit, like, play this yo-yo game of hitting and capping yourself at a glass ceiling that you never break through because you never actually move your team into the momentum that they need to win in the next season because you're stopping and you're capping because you don't know what's around the corner, right? There was one, or not one, there were 2 people. It was so funny today. Aspen and I were talking about the trip because we've got the wild cards tomorrow, right? We were talking about the trip and she was like, it would be really interesting, you know, Aspen, if you know Aspen, to analyze like how everyone that was in the top 75 like got their points. Like, did anybody like skirt in just because they were maintaining? I was like, of course, there were a few top leaders that maybe they didn't do any enrollments, but because they're vice presidents or senior vice presidents, they get those points throughout the thing. And I said, but I will tell you that the difference between the leaders that didn't make it and the leaders that did, and are the fact that they worked for 6 months. And I can attest to 2 specifically in this organization that worked every single month and every single day that made it, that weren't and had to fight into the top 75. And I was telling Aspen about them today specifically. I was like, they weren't in the top 75 2 or 3 months ago and they hit promotions. Like, they had to work. And that's Jen and Kim. And like, I am so dang proud of you guys and the work that you did to fight your way into the top 75. Okay. And the fact that like you didn't just wait till the end, and like Mickey and I were talking about, like, this is going to sound really crazy, like the bloodbath, and she knows what I'm talking about. But I'm like, there are people, you guys, that literally were like waiting till that last month, and it was stressful. Like, they were like, I don't know if I'm going to get in. And I'm just like slamming enrollments in, hoping that it's enough. And she's like, who wants to fight out the bloodbath? She's like, isn't it so much easier? Like, Lori, you knew you were in. Like, when month end closed, you knew you were in like spot like 51. Like, you weren't like, she was in, you guys. There was so many points between, like, there was no way she was going to get bumped out, right? And it wasn't stressful. She'd done the work earlier in the months prior. Same thing, Mickey. She's like, Corey's like, can we buy her flights? Like, yeah. And she's like, I don't know. I mean, Brittany Beck said you never know. And Corey's like, Mickey, You've been like 19 to 23 the whole time. I think we can buy our flights. But again, you guys, my point was like it wasn't stressful for a few of them because they had done the work already. And that's what this business should be. It should be fun and exciting. And when you work every single day and do those little consistent efforts, you guys, there is no hustle culture. Hustle culture is nothing that I want to be a part of or that I would ever teach or train you guys how to do. Okay. So the fourth thing, fourth reason. First, does anybody remember what the first thing? Your paycheck. Second, don't hold your team back. Okay. Third, you don't know what's around the corner. And fourth, people are watching. Okay. Let's say, for example, you've just been blowing up social media because you've been on a 30, 60, 90-day run. And so you've been super, super consistent. Well, guess what? Now you're like, well, I don't know if there's anything to run for. Your social media follows suit usually, you guys. Maybe you go a week before posting. Maybe you go a couple days before posting, okay? Your business takes a hit from it because you're not keeping up with your goals, okay? People want to follow people that know where they're going. I literally can attest to the fact that there were people in Bravenly that were OGs, okay? That top leaders in other companies reached out to or knew that were here in the very beginning and went to their social and they're like, I don't even know if they're a part of Bravenly anymore. I don't think they are, and decided not to join. And a year later, they're here now. Okay. They didn't join those people because they were inconsistent. They didn't even know if they were like all in for Bravenly because they fell off the face of the earth. Okay. And so when you want to be continuing to be posting and consistent, my phone's going to die. I need to charge it. For the social proof. Okay. Let's say, for example, you just hit a really big promotion, or you just got on the trip, or you just did this, or you just did that, right? Now you want the social proof of you're helping your team. Your team is blowing up. Okay. Imagine if, you know, all the club cash things that are happening every single month, and you get to the end of April and you've popped a new director, you've popped a new senior director, right? That's social proof. Like nobody else knows that you're slowing down. Nobody else knows that we don't have anything that you're running for. Okay. Because your social looks just like it did the month that you were running for the thing. Does that make sense, you guys? Kind of what I'm saying? Like, don't slow down from a social standpoint, even if you don't feel like you've got that carrot. One thing that, like, this is going to be very quick little story because I can't go into the whole story. When I was at It Works, okay, I had built my business to a high level. Okay, I'd hit 6 figures in 6 months, stayed. And then things started to dip. That's when I got myself 2 accountability partners. I got into a group with 2 other girls, and we literally talked every day. We were working every single day. But the thing that, and when I say went like this, the whole company was, okay? Everything about that company was starting to kind of backslide a little bit, and everybody felt it. But we got together and we made these like bracelets, and what they said were, a rising tide lifts all ships. And then on the inside, it said, be the tide. Okay. We wanted to be the reason that not just like the company, but like our team didn't feel that. We didn't want our team to feel like the whole company was going through like downward growth. Like we wanted them to feel a part of something, excited, back on track. We wanted their paychecks good, right? And so we knew that also other people were watching what we were doing, and we didn't want like our recruitments to go down. Again, that snowball effect, right? We wanted to keep moving that. We wanted to create a sense of FOMO. We wanted to have people that were watching us from other companies, sidelines, like be like, whoa, their team is booming. Their team is growing, right? And also, this may sound, I don't know, I won't put words in your mouth. Remember my heart. I wanted people on my team that weren't working also to have FOMO. Meaning I wanted them to feel like, whoa, why am I just sitting around waiting? Like all these people, all my sidelines are freaking moving. Like I need to move again. I said yes to this for a reason. Like I don't want to be left behind. I wanted them to know that they were a part of this thing. that was moving and that they were invited to be on this, but I wasn't their boss. I was their leader. I was their mentor, and I was going to match their efforts, right? So if they were in a season of growing, guess what? I move with the growers. I work with the workers, jog with the joggers, run with the runners. And so for my certain times that I built in this industry, you guys, I had runners that put their business down and they decided, I don't want to run anymore. I want to walk. Okay. Well, I'm not walking, I'm running. That doesn't mean that you're not a part of my team, but I wanted them to remember their worth, their value, what they were in it for. And I wanted them to decide, I want to run again. Right. So if I didn't move the whole team forward, in that wouldn't have happened for some of those people. It wouldn't have happened for some of them to come back and pick up their businesses again and say, I want this and I want to be here for this. Okay. And then the other part about the whole people are watching thing is, when I said earlier, people want to follow people that know where they're going. If you are always the yo-yo on social of posting and being consistent, and then you're gone, and then posting and being consistent, and then you're gone, it might be a reason why recruiting is hard for you. We'll just say that. And if you're one of those people, you can reach out to me and we can have a conversation about that. Okay. We can talk and get through that. But that is a hard truth that I had to realize, that when I was pushing for a goal, I was the best leader. Okay. I was operating at my highest level of everything when I was working for a goal. And I realized that goal didn't mean I was going to promote every month. But what it meant is that I had something that I was working for. My team deserved me functioning at my highest level of leadership for every one of them. But guess what? My future team that wasn't with me yet was dependent upon me working for a goal. Do you guys get what I mean by that? Okay. If my team that was already here, if I was functioning at my highest level of leadership, everything was firing on all cylinders when I was running for a goal. And like I said, it might not have been a new rank goal, might have been an income goal, might have been a sponsoring goal, just a goal, getting in the 2000 club. Okay. When I had something I was running for, I was operating at the best leadership level. My team deserved that of me. But what I want you to grasp is, I was required to do that for the people that hadn't joined me yet that would. And if I didn't do that, they weren't going to join me. Okay. Do you guys understand what I'm saying by that? If you're not moving, if you're not out there pushing for a goal, if you're not talking about what you're doing, your recruitment and your whole team's recruitment is going to start to go down, and you're going to have droughts where no new brand partners are joining your team. Okay. Nobody is coming in because you're being a yo-yo with it, right? Well, nobody is going to want to join you. And I'm saying this with all love. Okay. Like I said, if you have any sort of checks in your spirit, if you're like, that was a hard thing for me to hear, let's talk about it. Okay. But I understood, because I had to go through that, of being a yo-yo or watching certain people on my team be a yo-yo, and I would just watch their recruitments go down. And we had to have the conversations of, well, your prospects or the people that maybe you were talking to 6 months ago, you've now like gone silent for 2-3 months. They don't even know if you're doing it anymore. They can't trust that you're the leader that they should enroll with, right? And so your future team, the people that haven't joined you yet, that are just watching you, are just as important as the people that are here now, depending on you to lead them. Okay. So 4 reasons why to run right now. Last couple tips, things, is there is some stuff that you guys should and could be running for right now, that if you need that carrot. And I know for me, like my personality type, like I was somebody who was competitive and I like to challenge, like I needed to challenge myself outside of my 4 like personal goals, which were rank, income, sales, and enrollments. Okay. I always wanted something to be running for. It was just part of like who I was. Okay. We have the SED summit right now, where you have to hit the rank of senior executive director to be able to go to that leadership day. Excuse me. So we do have that on the table. Okay. every single month we committed to, at the beginning of 2024 as a company, to doing some sort of like business booster challenge. Okay. So I don't know if you guys have caught on to that, but every month we have something. Like right now it's that tumbler. Okay. First 225 people to do Impact Achiever, get that tumbler. So there is always something to be running for. Okay. Also, this team specifically, like I already know, like Mickey is running for executive vice president by August. So I already know there's probably things up her sleeve that she's going to be doing to incentivize you guys as well, so that she goes EVP. But at the end of the day, you guys, like this team, I want this team to go executive vice president. I want Mickey on those leadership calls where we tell her the new thing, and you guys aren't seeing all the other sidelines posting about it. You're seeing your leader post about it, right? So like, I so want that to happen for you guys. But here's the other thing. There are new people in your organization that do have timelines for bonuses. Okay. So when you enroll somebody, I want you guys in that first like business strategy session, when you're talking to them, talk about it. Be like, okay, your goal is to go director in the next 4 months, like to hit this bonus, right? We're not waiting 4 months. We're going to get it done month 1, but make sure you are walking them through that timeline and have that carrot for them as they're walking through that. That is something that you guys can be dangling for new people. Okay. Another kind of last minute thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is when you hit a new rank, say you hit the rank of director, you have to work just as hard as you did to hit that rank to maintain it. Okay. What I mean by that is if you did 2,500 in volume, you're tricking yourself if you think that you're just going to hit 2,500 in volume by doing half the work, right? So you guys, when you hit a new rank, you need to be committed to doing that same work over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. And obviously maintenance is a little bit less in volume, but that was a hard lesson that I had to learn. Like I watched all these people hit a rank of like director in my team, and then they would take off the next like 15 days of the next month. And then they would be super upset, irritated, pissed off, mad, frustrated when they would get to the next month and then they didn't maintain. I'm like, well, you took half the month off. Like last month you worked every day, not hustle culture, but you did something every single day to go make sure that happens. And so as leaders, the second that somebody goes director on your team, have a conversation with them on the first, second, third, so they know what they need to do to maintain that rank the next month. Okay. Start doing that. Don't learn the hard way of having people upset and frustrated at themselves, really is what it is, because you don't have that conversation with them. Okay. So the last thing that I will leave you with, and then I'm going to pass it back over to Mickey. And if there's anybody that has like questions or things that they want to popcorn with, is 2 things that you guys, you can be doing right now to ensure some action, to ensure some momentum. One, which is like a precursor, is just if you maybe it's the 15th of the month, if you don't have a goal yet, make that decision tonight, like Mike was talking about. Okay, people that change the trajectory of their life, it starts with one decision. Okay, it starts with the decision. So make that decision for you right now. What are you working towards? What is your goal for April? Okay. But the 2 things that will help you guys get in action is launching new people, getting people started, and going director, which is why watching Mentorship Monday is super, super important. You guys, you need to create a culture in your organization and your team where people go director their first month. Okay, they go director, teach director, go director, teach director, go director, teach director. So launching people, and get help with sending messages. And I'm going to say that again. Get help with sending messages. The key to recruiting is the language of recruiting. Okay. The key to bringing in new people is knowing how to overcome objections, what to say, how to not get emotionally attached to things. All of those things. There's a language of this business when you're talking to people, and when you're new or when you're emotionally attached to something. You guys, I was a #1 ink earner of a company, and I would text my, who was Aspen Emery, she was the CEO at the time. Okay, I would text her and be like, hey, I'm super in my head about this person. Can you help me message them? I was a #1 ink earner of a company, you guys, and I still got help messaging. Mickey still uses me all the time for messages. Okay. She's great at it, but when we have somebody that is like so personal to us, we just need help. If the reason sending messages, if you are legit in conversations every single day and you're not enrolling, I guarantee there's something going on with what you're saying. Okay, I guarantee it. And I don't want you guys burning through leads. I don't want you guys burning through messages and what you're saying. Like, just get help, just get a second set of eyes on it. When that was what I focused on and helped my team, it is the key that got us to 6 figures in 6 months, you guys. I am here to tell you, I could tell you 10 different things that I did to make that happen. The number one thing that I will, to my dying day, say that changed the trajectory of my business is I got help messaging, and I created a community of people that did that as well. So much so, some of you guys have heard me say this before, where when if you were new and you enrolled with me, okay, let's say Sarah Sigliano enrolled with me today, and I'm helping her, say she's got a goal to make $500 her first month. We're going to get her to director. She's identified her top 10 people. I'm going to tell her, don't you dare send a message without showing me what you're going to say first. Okay. And I would joke about it. And I'd be like, it's only because I don't want you saying the wrong thing to the right person or the right thing to the wrong. I want to make sure that these messages have a second set of eyes on it. And then once you send it, if they respond, don't you dare respond. Take a screenshot and send it to me. And her and I are going to work really closely on this for 48 hours, the next 30 days. And I'm going to literally spoon feed her with every single message. Guess what? She's going director. It's going to happen. I know it because I know how to message. Okay. Your leaders know how to message. Your leaders know how to say things, phrase things, overcome objections, and not be emotionally attached to your people. Okay. So get help with sending messages. All right, you guys, that's all I got. I know that was probably a lot, but Mickey, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. Thank you. I will just add on to that last thing. You said it too, but when I was first getting started in working with my former upline, it was one of those things where it was hard for me to do because I'm like, well, the message isn't working. So clearly I'm saying something wrong, but I was like embarrassed to send her a screenshot because it was obviously a bad message, or so, so I thought. So I didn't for a long time, but also my business wasn't working as well as it could because my messaging wasn't working. So finally, when I bit the bullet and just sent her and asked her for help and got some tweaking and some verbiage, or like, I just was able to grow from it. So definitely glad that you brought that up, you guys. It's still, like she said, I still send messages. If it's not her, it's to Sarah Levenberg, and she tells me to get out of my head. And I mean, like, I was talking to someone else today. It's easier for me to tell, let's say Tammy Trisket, she's the first on my screen, what to tell to her person than it is to message my own people, because I don't have that emotional connection. So it's okay. Ask for help, send screenshots, ask what you can say back. What would you say in this case? Whatever, whether it's your upline, the sideline, just ask for help. And then you guys learn that way too. So then you're able to duplicate that down. So, see, Jen said the same thing. And I believe Michelle Glass would say the same thing when she started getting Sarah and I into some screenshots and conversations. So anyway, you guys, thanks for hopping on. Ashley, thank you so much for spending your evening with us. 109%. So helpful. I hope you guys are all got value from that. I can't wait to hear some tidbits and aha moments afterwards, but we'll let you guys get your evening back and we'll talk to you guys soon. Unless you guys have questions. Does anyone have something they wanted to say? I was kind of looking at the chats, but if you
I
want
was
to
going to say
unmute.
one last thing. One last thing I want to ask you guys is if there was anything that we talked about tonight that you want to have a further like one-on-one conversation with me about, feel free to message me. Okay. And we can absolutely do that. If there's something that was maybe hard for you to hear tonight, a check in your spirit is what I like to call it. Something that you're like, wow, I really need to go to that next level of leadership. I really need to start doing that. And if you need that like extra layer of coaching, please feel free to reach out to me or one of your leaders, and don't just have the aha moment and stay there. Like, take action on it and have that conversation.
Amen. Take action. Awesome. All right, ladies. Thanks, Ashley. Love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.